Europe is going to be worse than the US because of one, greater exposure to energy shocks coming from Russia, oil and natural gas. The US is slightly more self-sufficient. Also, public debt in the Eurozone, it's a bigger issue. But Spain, like the rest of the Eurozone, has a risk of inflation. It's falling, but core inflation is still high and sticky. Debt levels of the government is high. The deficits are larger than some other parts of the Eurozone, especially the primary balances, excluding interest payments, are worse for Spain. And reforms are hard to make like everywhere else. You have some populist parties of the right and the left that are putting pressure on mainstream to have more radical policies. And when the election occur, any party, whether center-right, center-left, whoever is in power, does stimulus to get their chance of being re-elected greater, and that's not a good idea. And on fiscal policy, Spain, like the rest of Europe, try to across the board help everybody, every worker, every family, every business. They try to reduce the food and energy inflation by reducing some taxes. You help everybody, but then you're creating more demand because you're transferring money and there's a fiscal cost, and that makes the problem for the ECB worse of dealing with inflation. So you're repressing inflation in the short run by creating more aggregate demand by having a stimulus that creates more inflation down the line. So it has all the contradictions that also other parts of Europe have. Well, some of my mega threats are medium long term, say the impact of climate change, the risk of another severe pandemic, the risk that AI, robotic automation destroys many jobs, the process of protectionist deglobalization, and even the risk of conflict between great powers that could become violent and unconventional, even if we already have a hot war between Russia and Ukraine that could become involve NATO, could become non-conventional. But even the longer-term mega threats are materializing today. I can give you dozens of examples of how climate change is causing huge damage today, how the lingering effects of COVID are still with us. There could be even variants of Omicron that are as deadly, if not more deadly. China is still dealing with this issue. And a war between great powers can occur sooner rather than later. We have a hot war between Russia and Ukraine. I was just in Israel when they're worried about Iran effectively become a threshold nuclear state. They might strike Iran. It'll have a massive repercussion, economic, financial, geopolitical ones. US and China are in a collision course in Asia and over Taiwan. So these are all mega threats that one connected to each other. That's why people sometimes call it polycrisis. I call it mega threats.